Okay, we're in for an amazing, wonderful, special treat today as we learn about Chodesh Iyar. And it's obviously the greatest Chodesh of the year. Why is that? Because it's the only Chodesh where we have a mitzvah every day. It's a new special, its own mitzvah every single day, counting the Omer. That's unbelievable. And anyone who is a Mevakshe Hashem, anyone is really yearning and requesting and wanting a relationship with Hashem, that we love mitzvahs. We just want to do mitzvahs. So the opportunity to get to do a new mitzvah every single day for the whole month is very, very, very special. I actually spoke in a seminary last Thursday, and I hadn't seen them since before Pesach, and I said to the girls, who is counting the Omer? So some put their hands up, half, and then the other half were like, no. And I said, okay, so we're going to start tonight. We're going to start. And they were like, it's too late. And I said, isn't that too late? You can't say a bracha, whatever. But you could count the Omer. So one of the girls said to me, she was like, no, but how do I make up for all the days I missed? And I said, and I was talking about how special counting the Omer is. I love counting the Omer because there's nothing to it. With all other mitzvahs, shaking a lulav and etrog, lighting Chanukah candles, Pesach, there's so much to it. The counting the Omer is just saying a number. So I love that so much because it's all about you, how much you invest in it. That's how good. So talk about how amazing counting the Omer is. So one girl said, but how do you make up for all the days you missed? And I said, well, how do you feel that you missed them? And she was like, I'm so upset that I missed them now. And I said, you just made up for it. The fact that you're upset that you didn't, that means you now did. Probably even better than the girls who actually did count it every day with not so much kavana, and they kind of laughed at you for not counting it. They were like, well, I counted and you didn't. Your yearning to have counted is much more special and beautiful and creates the connection. So you've now made up all the days you missed, and then you're going to start today.
Are we going to continue counting once I do some dishes here, or?
Oh, I don't know. So, and then also we're counting many times a day. You don't count once a day. You can only say a bracha once a day. But you should be saying today is the 16th day of the Omer, which is 2 weeks and 2 days. Or today is 16 days, which is 2 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. And you should know what the power is. Gevura Shabbat. You've got to know what day it is. You've got to count all day. The Rebbe Eli Melech used to count many, many times a day. Today, and I say to all my students, I see them, do you know that? Why not? You should know, you should be consciously aware of what day of the Omer it is. And that way you can tap into the energy of the Omer. It's very special. So we're in Rosh Chodesh. Now, Rosh Chodesh is one of my favorite days of today. And Iyar is one of my favorite months of this month. Because Rosh Chodesh is really teaching us the idea of being new. Just starting again. Just be new. Go from today. So Rabbi Nachman Kute Moran says a very beautiful thing. Reis Samach Aleph says this: Adam, kishenofel Adam madregato. When someone falls from their madrega, you have a certain spiritual awareness, a certain personal development. You're at a certain level. Kishe Adam nofel madregato. When you fall. Now he's saying he's not saying if you fall, you are going to fall. That is part of life. You have to get used to that fact. Part of your spiritual journey and personal journey is you're going to fall. Everyone does. It's not bidiyavad. It's not ideal. It is completely expected. It has to happen. Because that's how the universe is created. Sometimes we feel connected. Sometimes we don't feel connected. Sometimes you get up really full of energy and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel close to your spouse and sometimes you don't. Sometimes that is life. Get used to that, it's okay. Rabbi Nachman really speaks about this idea. You've got to be baki baratzai and baki b'shav. You have to be an expert at running and an expert at returning. That's literally what it means. But it means you've got to be an expert at growing and feeling close to Hashem and spiritually connected. But you also have to be an expert at the avoda of not feeling close, of feeling a little bit disconnected. And it doesn't mean I'm bad. And he says you shouldn't fall from your fall. So you are going to fall, but if you then, when you fell and you spoke Lashon Hara, or you let yourself down and you did something, if you then start beating yourself up, oh look, I haven't grown, that's even worse. That's the biggest Yetzer Hara. You're taking yourself further and further away. So when you fall, you have to admit, and you have to have remorse, and you have to apologize, but then you have to get up. Don't fall from your fall. Expect that falls are going to happen. And the more you can do the avoda of not digging yourself deeper when you fall, the shorter the fall is. You come up quicker because you have just a better attitude, so you're going to get back up. So it says this. What is the Eitzah? She'atchil michadash. Lekanes be'avodas Hashem. Just start again. Okay, you messed up. So start tomorrow. Just start again. Don't be like, my past defines me. I messed up, and that's who I am. I'm a bad person. Hashem hates me. Don't do that. Just start again. Very, very simple. As if you never even started. You did tshuva today. You woke up this morning, and you weren't religious yesterday, and today you say, you know what? I'm going to be good today. I'm going to start again. Forget the past. Most people are completely dragged down by their past and defined by their past. He said, just be new. Chodesh, Rosh Chodesh, I say every Rosh Chodesh, but it means Rosh Chadash, a new head. You have to have a new perspective. And the first way of having a new perspective is have a new perspective about yourself. Have a bit of self-compassion. I was speaking to someone yesterday, one of my students, and she converted. And I haven't seen her for lots of months, and she came and saw me yesterday. I have to see you. She came and she was crying, and she lived with a man and stayed, whatever. She completely, once she converted, she suddenly just cried, and she was like, I'm so lost, I'm alone, I'm lonely. So I learned this with her. I said, okay, you did mess up, mazel tov. You messed up, start again. Just start again. Why not? I have students, I gave up smoking. I want to give up smoking, but I've given up smoking 50 times already. And I know if I give up smoking again, then I'll start again. And the Baruch Hashem, he gave up smoking 50 times. That's very special. He gave up smoking 50 times. Yeah, but it was only for 5 days each time. You gave up smoking for 250 days? That's unbelievable. You're amazing. So keep giving up smoking for 5 days every month for the rest of your life. The biggest failure is to stop trying again. It's not to know. If you say, I know for a fact that I'm going to try and fail, but you still try, I think that's a success. If you say, therefore, I'm not going to try, I think that's a failure. So if you do try again, maybe you will succeed that time. But even if you don't, you succeeded in trying again. Just keep again and again. Be chadash. V'zeh klal gadol be'avodas Hashem. And this is a major rule in avodas Hashem. Shetzichin mamish b'chol yom latchil min hadash. Wake up in the morning. Maideh ani lefanecha. You are a new being. Your neshama went up. Got cleansed. You come down. You're new. I'm new. Yes.
How do you maintain motivation to constantly start over?
By understanding that you can, and Hashem wants you to, and the only reason you wouldn't is because you give up on yourself. So if you understand that Hashem doesn't give up on you, the first thing you say in the morning is Rabbi Monatecha. You have so much faith in me, you brought me back again. I woke up in a bed.
Accomplish a step and then
So accomplish a step. But I take one step forward and then 2 steps back. You took 1 step forward? That's so beautiful. Why are you focusing on the 2 steps back? Focus on the 1 step forward. And then once you start doing that, then you stop taking 2 steps back so much, because the better you feel about yourself, the more you're inspired to do more. Once you feel bad about yourself, then you say, well, I'm not that good anyway, so I'll do badly. So focus on the good, positive reinforcement. And he says this as well. Here's another look at somewhere. Likutei Moharan 272. 272. It says this. Hayom im b'kolo tishma'u. It's a pasuk in Tehillim. Today, if you listen to my voice. There's a famous Gemara about this. Someone went to speak to Eliyahu Hanavi and said, when is Mashiach coming? And he says, go and ask him. He said, what do you mean? Where is he? And he says, he's one of the lepers, one of the people with the tzaras, sitting outside the city. That's Eliyahu. That's Mashiach. So he went to see Mashiach, and he said, you Mashiach? And he said, yeah. And he goes, when are you coming? And he said, Hayom, today. So the guy got very excited. He started telling him, Mashiach's going today, yeah. End of the day, Mashiach didn't come. Guy goes back to Eliyahu and says, hold on, Mashiach lied to me. He said, Hayom. Eliyahu said, no, he meant this pasuk, Hayom im b'kolo tishma'u. I'll come today if you listen to Hashem. If you're doing what you're meant to do, then I'll come today. So it's a very famous pasuk. And it's so good for this time because we have a mitzvah to say the word Hayom 49 days in a row. We're saying the word Hayom. Hayom. Which firstly brings us into the present moment. Hayam. This is the day. This is the day. Today is the 16th day, which is 2 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. Just today. So this is what Rabbi Nachman says. Zeh klal gadol ba'avodas Hashem. This is a major rule in Avodas Hashem. Shelo yasim l'neged einav ki im otzai hayam. Don't put in front of your eyes, don't concentrate on anything apart from just today. Just do today. I'm just going to do what I need to do today. Hein be'esek parnasato, whether with your physical and material needs. Don't think to other days. We came by avodato yisbarach lo yasim l'neged einav ki im otzai hayam v'otzai hasha. And when it comes to your spiritual work, don't think about anything apart from today. Just do today. What do I need to do today? What does Hashem want from me today? What's the right thing for me to do today? And he goes even further. Va'atosha, even this hour or even this moment. What's my avodah this moment? What's being asked of me right now? What's my mission in life? In this moment, right now. Very, very healthy. When you want to start serving Hashem and be spiritual, it feels like it's a very heavy burden. I've got to keep tzanua and daven and tehillim, and I can't speak to these people. That's a lot. You want me to learn the whole of Shas? Have to daven in a minyan 3 times a day, put on tefillin. That's a big thing to take on. It's a very big burden. You want me to pray in a minyan 3 times a day, every day for the rest of my life? That's very difficult to commit to that. That seems very, very overwhelming. And you can never hold this burden, this weight. But when you think to yourself, forget it. I can pray 3 times in a minyan today. That I can't do. I can give tzedakah today. That I can't do. I cannot speak Lashon Hara for today. You want me to never speak Lashon Hara again for the rest of my life? No. I want you to not speak Lashon Hara today. You know what? I can do that. It's not going to be hard anymore. And he's now saying a different point. Also, don't push things off to the next day. Just be very present in this day and say, Macha atchil, I'll start tomorrow. You know what? Tomorrow I'll start working on myself. Tomorrow. Macha etpelal b'kavana. Tomorrow I'll daven with kavana. Mavacha kol rui, and with the right strength. I'll start my diet tomorrow. I'll do this tomorrow. I'll call home more often tomorrow. Don't do that. Rav Nach Weinberger set up Eish. One of his favorite Torah ideas was, it says that we're going out to fight Amalek Machal. And he says there's an Amalek called Macha. There's an Amalek, there's a negative force called Macha. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll push it off to that. In itself is a type of Amalek. And understand that Iyar is the month when Amalek attacked us. This is the month. We left Egypt, we crossed the sea, so this is the time when it's happening. So don't push it off tomorrow. Because you have nothing apart from today. And even more than that, now, this hour. Yesterday finished. Yesterday's gone. Yeah, but yesterday I let myself down. Okay, but that doesn't matter. That was yesterday. Just don't let yourself down again today. No, but, so you say, okay, I won't let myself down again today, and then you do. Okay, well, tomorrow's just today. You've got to put these 2 teachings together. Be it start again. And I've only got today. So the past is gone and the future isn't here yet. You're living in a constant present moment, although you're not, because your mind is in the past and the future. But life is one constant present moment. As we know, the main name of God, Yud and He and Vav and He, means the continuous present. He, Vav, He is Hoveh, present, and Yud is a continuous. Hashem is just, that's why we say Hashem is beyond time and space. When you say Hashem is beyond time and space, you think that means beyond the universe, which it does as well. But what it also means is Hashem's just present here, right here and now, all the time. So he's not beyond time and space, he is. Do you get what I'm saying? Important. So you just got now today, Shamad Ki Yom tomorrow is a completely different day. Literally, different energy. The best time of year to see this is counting the Omer, because we say literally every day of the Omer has a different energy. It's Kavura Shit B'Tiferes. But every day of the year has a different energy, and every hour of the day has a different energy, and every minute of the hour has a different energy, and you can break it down and say, this is today, right at this second, this is the energy of Chesed Shebetiferes V'Gevur. You don't try to do that, by the way. But just understand. So Rabbi Nachman says, people say, how can I put on my tefillin the same every day? He says it's not the same every day, because today is a completely different day. It's a completely different world, completely different energy. It's just the energy of now. So if you're being fully now, with your tefillin fully now, it's like you never put on tefillin before. You're mechada, you're new. It's a very, very healthy way to approach life. Pardon? Rosh Chodesh just is new because it's teaching us the idea of the moon is becoming new again. And the newness, and Chodesh is Chadash, and it's just showing that is literally the cycle of the moon, which is Ratzah V'Shav. We got running and returning, we've got inhaling and exhaling, we've got wax and wane, we've got ebb and tide, the whole of the universe. Even your literal breath, inhale and exhale, is this process of expanding and contracting. So in Kabbalistic consciousness, it's called Katnus and Gadlus. Meichin de Katnus, Meichin de Gadlus, which means narrow consciousness, details consciousness, and Gadlus is more expanded, getting a bigger perspective. Our Native American brothers call it mouse vision and eagle vision. There's mouse vision, and then there's eagle vision. So in general, we think of Katnus as a low level. Katnus, it's also when I don't feel so connected, and I'm just getting caught up in my day-to-day life and just going from one thing to the next. I feel very restricted, and the purpose of life is to access this state of gadlus, of spiritual connection and broadness. But the truth is, there is a deep, deep beauty to healthy katnus. There's a deep beauty to be able to be in the details on the ground, but in a healthy, conscious way, which is Iyar. That's what Iyar is. Iyar is saying today is this day. So there's a very powerful mouse vision is very important if you want to see all the. You don't want to miss anything, but you have to keep coming out. You have to go into, okay, what needs to get done? I've got to get things done. People who are just eagle, godless people, they're not connected to life and the world, and they're not achieving so much. But people who are big achievers, they're often stressed and constricted, so you always have to have the balance. Ratzah V'Shav, inhale and exhale. So this time of year, it's really counting the Omer is a healthy avoda of just the details. Small steps, that's literally what we're doing, taking small steps. Small steps. Now, our sages teach us that Iyar is the month of healing, the month of refuah. On a simple level, it's because we left Egypt and now we have to purify ourselves in order to receive the Torah. That's what we're doing. We say we have the barley offering. The Omer is a barley offering, which is for animals. Barley is for animal. And the Shavuot offering is wheat, which is for humans. So we're uplifting our lower animalistic nature and we're purifying ourselves to become this higher level. There's a pasuk that says, Ani Hashem Rofecha. The first letter of Ani is Aleph. We write Hashem Yud Yud, and Rofecha is Resh. Aleph Yud Yud Resh is Iyar. So this is a month of healing. So this is where we go back to what we've been learning in our other class. Do you need to be healed? Do you need to heal yourself? Everyone needs to heal themselves, correct? Absolutely not. You are perfect, healthy, pure, radiant being of divine light. You don't need any healing. I was just in Sefirat HaOmer, and one of my students who used to be at Aish, he came to see me, and he said to me, Rebbe, I'm really working on my, on the lower parts of myself. I said to him, you don't have lower parts of yourself. What are you talking about? You're a perfect, connected, pure, shining, holy neshama. No, he goes, my lower parts, my negativity and my jealousy, my bad character trait. And I said, but those aren't parts of yourself. You're a neshama. Those are lower parts of your ego. Those are lower parts of your psyche. Those are lower parts of your experience. They're not you. You do not need to purify yourself at all. You're perfect and pure. So when we say it's a month of healing, what are we healing? We're not healing ourselves. We're healing the external thing that has covered up. In Judaism, healing is revealing. Healing is peeling. Healing is peeling and revealing. That's what we're doing, peeling away all the... Have we got a siddur here? Masha Pagamti. Watch this. I'd noticed this recounting the Omer. It's very important. Thank you. When we count the Omer, before we count the Omer, after we count the Omer, what do you think we do when we're counting the Omer? Every day has its special energy that you have to tap into. So the very first day is Chesed Shebechesed. So when we say today is Chesed Shebechesed and we're building up to receiving the Torah Shavuot, do you get the impression that what I am doing is I'm now adding and integrating this power of Chesed Shebechesed? And the second day, what I am doing is I'm adding and integrating this power of Gevurah Shebechesed. And on the third day, I'm adding and integrating Tiferet Shebechesed. Is that how you see it? Or if you don't see it at all? I think that's how people generally see it. But that's not what we say afterwards. Listen to this. It says this. After we count the Omer, we say this. Ribbona shel Olam, Master of the world. You commanded us to count the Omer. Why? Kedei letaharenu, in order to purify us, miklipotenu mitumatenu, in order to purify us from our external negativity and defilement. It's a process of purifying whatever's covered up our natural health. The example I always give is of the light bulb. And every time you do something bad, you put some mud on the light bulb, and you put more mud on the light bulb, and you put so much mud on the light bulb that you can't see the light of the light bulb. But you didn't damage the light bulb, and it's still shining, and it's still bright, and it's still perfect. You just covered it up. So the process of purification is just cleaning, is purifying. So we're taking away. Jewish healing isn't about adding, it's about the opposite, it's taking away, revealing the soul. Literally in Jewish trauma therapy, although we also do breath work and somatic experiencing and all those stuff, which is important to heal the nefesh and the ruach, we say actually you need to access the place within you that was never traumatized in the first place. Your neshama, whatever happened to you, the most terrible thing, your neshama wasn't affected by that. So we have to do both. We have to heal the nefesh and the ruach, the lower levels, but then also access the neshama, the place where there was never trauma, and then heal from inside out. So what we're actually doing when we're counting the Omer is we're cleaning away. In order to purify us from our zuhuma, our defilements. So it's amazing. You're not healing yourself. You're healing those external layers that are covering up your truth self. So that's what we're really trying to do. That's why, by the way, when we say refuas nefesh for refuas aguf. If you're praying for someone who's sick, God forbid you have someone in your family, and we say, give them a refuas nefesh or refuas aguf. Why? What do you mean? Just give them a refuas aguf? No, because it's the nefesh. It's the spiritual sickness. Rabbi Nachman says here, by the way, it's good. It's all on the same page. In Reish Samachet, Kasheina Adam istikal al tachlid lama lo chayim. When you're not actually looking at what I'm living for, what's the purpose of my life? If you're not conscious of why you're alive, lama lo chayim. What's the point of being alive? Nice. What are you doing? Well, I'm just getting by. I'm just hanging in there. I'm just going to try and work out some whatever. I don't have any real plan. You got to work out. Let's stick to why am I here? This is why I say you need to count the Omer all day. Because why? You're not getting the benefit of the day of the Omer and the energy of the Omer if you're not conscious. Today is 2 weeks. Today is 16 days, which is 2 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. I've said that about 50 times today. I've counted the Omer, and it's a mitzvah every time, I think. I'm doing loads of mitzvahs, counting the Omer all day. It's great. Your soul just is yearning all the time to do Ratzon Hashem. Your soul just wants to, whatever you want me to do, Hashem, I'm going to do it. I want this. I want this. My life's not about my little career and my stuff. The neshama just wants Hashem, God consciousness, expanded goodness. When the neshama sees that the person isn't doing what Hashem wants them to do, God forbid, just sitting around, social media, chasing material pleasures, all of that, Azahi misgagad me'ad lachzor l'shosha. The neshama is like, I want to go home. I want to get out of here. The neshama has no interest in olam hazeh. No interest in the football results and the politics and the food and nothing. This is the beginning of Mesilas Yesharim, by the way. So Mesilas Yesharim says the neshama can't stand on olam hazeh apart from you get to do mitzvahs, and you need a body to do mitzvahs. So the neshama loves olam hazeh because only in olam hazeh can you do mitzvahs, and you need a body to do mitzvahs. But if you're not doing mitzvahs, then the neshama's like, I don't want to be here. In fact, we say that when you get angry, your neshama does actually leave. And if you walk into some like nightclub, your neshama leave. Your neshama isn't always there. Your nefesh and your ruach is always there. Otherwise, you'd actually die. But your neshama, the Tanya goes so far as to say that most people don't actually really have their neshama as part of their consciousness at all. It's just not. I love you. I just can't be there. It's not so nice thing. So what happens is, the less you do what your essence wants to do, I just got to get out of here. And it starts to like pull itself away. And this is what causes sickness. Some sickness is just caused because you're smoking cigarettes. But we're talking on a more spiritual level. Sometimes when there's no seemingly like physical reason for someone to get sick, they're getting sick because they're not living their purpose. So then they're losing all their spiritual vitality. So it's basically your neshama's out of there. This is a crazy idea, by the way. Because the neshama, I just want to do what Hashem wants. Now watch this. So how is it, in this spiritual understanding of sickness, that taking medicine can make you better? How does it work? It's an unbelievable Peladika idea. Because the nefesh, the neshama, suddenly sees, hold on, this guy is taking bitter, horrible medicine. He's doing stuff that he doesn't want to do in order to get better. So that shows me that if he really wants to, he can overcome his taivas. Amazing idea. Shazeh adam yachol. So he's used to eating nice food and everything, but look, va'achshav kofeh tavato, he's putting down his just physical desires, umakabar refuat samim marim, he's bitter medicines in order to become healthy. The nefesh sees, wow, this guy can actually have self-control and overcome his desires and his ratzons and everything if he has a certain purpose to live for. The neshama comes back and says, you know what, I think you can, even though you haven't done it yet, I see you can do it, so I'm giving you a chance now. Oh, amazing. So fine, this is what we're trying to do. So we understand that what is sickness? Sickness is when you have too much or too little of something. If you have too little iron, then you will get sick. And if you have too much sugar in your blood, whatever, that is what sickness is. There's a state of being which is called health. You are healthy. If you have too much or too little of something, then you're basically completely disaligned. You're not in alignment anymore. My wife's an energy healer. A lot of her work in energy healer is just realigning the energy. There are energy blocks, there's trauma, there's whatever's going on in the energy system. She's just realigning it. And this is really the letter of the month. Sefer Yetzirah says that every month has a letter and a tribe and a power. The power of Iyar is hirhor. It's a type of thought. There's something called machshava, which is thought. Hirhor is how you speak to yourself. I don't think we have time for that class today, but whatever. Each month has a different powers. So the letter of the month is Vav, and we know that Vav is the connection. Even in Hebrew, we say Ani ve'ata, me and you. Vav is connection, and the simple reason is because Iyar is connecting Nisan and Sivan, is connecting Pesach and Shavuot. The Ramban says that the whole period of counting the Omer is literally Chol HaMoed. There's one big festival. There's a big 57-day festival from the beginning of Pesach, building up to Shavuot, and it's a long, beautiful festival, and Iyar is like the bridge between those two things. So it's all about realigning. We're realigning katnus and gadlus. We're realigning our soul to our body. Because we want the body, we're not getting rid of the body. You want to have a healthy body. Refuah's a nefesh, refuah's a guf. You want a healthy body so that you can serve Hashem in a healthy body. It's all about aligning from our other classes who you're being with who you are. Remember we said who you are is a perfect pure soul. Who you are being through your thought, speech and action, is that in line with who you are? Are your thought, speech and action an expression of your soul? So when we say that Sefirat HaOmer is about purifying yourself, we know that 49 days, 49 is gematria lev tov, a good heart, because you want to be purifying your heart and having a good heart. So what it's really saying is, I want to make sure that not my lower self, because I don't have, these lower aspects of my experience are actually living in life. It's all about alignment, realigning. And it's the katnus and gadlus and the ratzo and the shav and the inhale and the exhale and just to be able to connect both worlds, to live in the physical world and still be spiritual. To be when we start Rosh Chodesh, Iyar is always on the week of Tiferet. We're now in the week of Tiferet, and Tiferet is that same idea. You have Chesed, loving kindness, Gevurah, strength, and Tiferet is the middle. It's the middle path. You have hot and cold and warm. So Tiferet is also this idea of the in between. Anivata. This balance, this relationship. The Zohar says that Chesed is water and Gevurah is fire and Tiferet is Ruach. Of course it's Ruach, because it's the in between. It goes in between the Nefesh and the Neshama. It's the Ruach. We're connecting it. So Tiferet, by the way, what does Tiferet mean?
Hallelujah.
Wow. And do we know what it means? So one meaning of Tiferet is harmony, balance, but really what it means is splendor. Wow. Tiferet, litpa'er, like glorify, splendor, amazing. Why did the Kohanim have their special clothes? For Tiferet. Even the tefillin, Otei Yisrael b'tifara. It's this splendid, amazing Sphira. Where do we get the word sphira and sphirat? Is related to the word sapphire, sapphire. The luchot that were written on sapphire. It's this shining, amazing. The tribe of the month is Yizascha, and his stone on the cheshen was sapphire, so it's shining. So there's another name for Iyar. Does anyone know the other name for Iyar? It says in Melachim Aleph, chapter 6, verse 1. I don't know Tanakh that well, but I just researched. It calls it Iyar Chodesh Ziv. Do you know what Ziv means? What?
I don't know how to explain.
Radiance, a radiant light. Ziv. The beginning of Mesilas Yesharim says, do you know the whole point of life? Is lehenot mi ziv shechina. Is to bask in the divine light, in the radiant divine light. That's very, very healing. Ani Hashem Rofecha. I am Hashem, I'm going to heal you. How does Hashem heal us? Just by basking in the radiant light. And that pulls away all the mud that you got on your neshama. A very amazing idea. Ziv Shechina. We are here to bask in the Ziv Shechina. And that's, this is the next part I saw. It all came together while I was thinking about this. This is what we say after counting the Omer. In the merit of Sefirat HaOmer that I counted today, Yitukan Masha Pagamti, fix what I messed up. Once again, it's not adding anything. It's fixing what was broken. It's rectifying something. We're not adding anything. We don't need to add anything because you're perfect. You are Ziv yourself. You're a radiant being of shining, beautiful, sweet light. It says, what I messed up in this particular sphera, Gevurah Shebetferes, and we said, by the way, when you're counting it, Hayayim Yaim, Shishas Hayayim, that's when the light is coming down into your neshama. That's why I said in my counting the Omer class, that you should imagine that there's a spotlight of divine light on you whilst you're counting the Omer, and it's literally a shower pouring, basking your neshama in Gevurah Tiferes. And when's that really, really happening? At the time you're counting the Omer. So don't just say Hayam Shisha Asrei Yam Shein Shoid Rosh Omer. Thank you very much. What's for dinner? Don't do that. Hayam Shisha Sayim. And then that means all day while you're counting it, every time you count it, you're pulling down that energy again. You should be counting the Omer all day, because then you're just walking around. It's as if you're walking around, you've got this divine spotlight on you all day. You're just walking around in this. And that is where your healing comes from. Because why? In the merit of me counting it, fix what I messed up in this area. And then I will be purified and sanctified with a kedusha from above. So when I say these words, I'm kedusha shalmala, I like kedusha shalmala, and that could be your own kedusha because your neshama is the mala. Kedusha shalmala. I had a chap. The faculty of the month is hirho, how you speak to yourself. How do you speak to yourself? Very important. Now tell me the difference between these two sentences, these two scenarios. You wake up in the morning early and it's tired and you're like, I just need more sleep, I can't get out of bed. There's a voice in your head, I need more sleep, I can't get out of bed. Then there's another voice in your head and says, no, come on, you really should. And you'll say, yeah, but I'm so tired. And then the voice says, no, but you'll feel good about yourself. That's one scenario. Switch scenario. You wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm so excited about getting out of bed. And then the voice in your heart says, no, you need to sleep a little bit more. No, you see the difference in those scenarios? And I was thinking about it, oh my goodness, which one's the you? In the first scenario, you're relating to your Yetzer Hara. I can't be bothered to get out of bed. And then there's this external force saying, no, you can. In the second scenario, you're relating to yourself as a neshama, and you're saying, I want to get out of bed. And the external voice is the Yetzer Hara saying, no, you should sleep more. You've got to start paying attention to your own hirho. Who's the you? I can't be, but is the neshama being like the coach? Come on, man, you can do it. Or is the Yetzer Hara being the one who's pulling you down? So be very aware of your hirho. Change what you're thinking. So you're going to, et kadesh mi kedusha. There's got to be singing and dancing. If you counted the Omer and you didn't sing and dance, you weren't fully mekayim the mitzvah. You didn't do it fully. That's halachically not true, but hashkafically definitely. Because the taharenu b'kedush l'kadshenu b'kedushascha ha'elyoina, the highest kedusha, just pour down into our neshama's his highest level of kedusha. Basking and bathing. Okay, so now this is it. This is when Hashem gave me my biggest excited chiddush of my life, and I was worried that I might die after it. So I thought that might be the only reason my soul came into my body. But I haven't died, so Hashem feels I have more to achieve. During this time, and we've got to be careful how we say this, something happened during the Omer, which means that now we are in a state of semi-mourning. But people say the Sefirat is a time of mourning. Is not. The Sefirat is from the Torah, is a mitzvah from the Torah, is a time of celebration, is Chol HaMoed, is amazing. At that time, because Rabbi Akiva's students didn't respect Kavod Zeh Lezeh, they didn't respect each other, and 24,000 of them died, we do some mourning stuff. One of the things we do is we don't listen to music. You don't listen to music, and you don't cut your hair, and whatever. You don't listen to music as a sign of mourning. Me personally, by the way, I was a DJ, but when I left England and went to live in Asia for 6 years, I decided not to listen to music in earphones at all. If there's music going on around, I'll enjoy it, but I don't want to control my mood through an external music. When you're feeling really down, you can put on certain music, make you feel better. I didn't want that. I wanted the universe to be my soundtrack. So, and I felt that was very healthy, and I just want to connect with the world. I want to have inner self-regulation. I don't want music to regulate my mood, because I think it's quite an external level of mood changing. So when it comes to the Sefira, I suddenly thought to myself, you can't listen to music in the Sefira, but maybe it's saying you have to go a little bit deeper into yourself and find your own music, the music of your soul. Now I speak about this a lot. There's always got to be something going on in your head. You're thinking non-stop, from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. You should not let your mind run on autopilot. In general, it doesn't go to the great places. So you should either be using your mind to solve a problem or learn or help people. But if you're not, you need a screensaver. You need something, don't just let it wander. So for me, it's singing. I sing all day. I'm singing, it often comes out, by the way. But when I'm riding my bike here, I'm singing. Not out loud, well, sometimes, but in general, I've got music play. I have my inner music, which I think that's what your neshama is. Your neshama has its song. So the spheres, we don't play music during the Omer. If you are a professional, yeah, if you're a professional and you need it for your money, then you can play. My son just started playing that. I'm teaching my son the keyboard. He's allowed to practice. You're allowed to listen to quiet, gentle meditation music as much as you like in order to meditate and be calm. I asked the Rosh Yeshiva yesterday. That's okay. If you haven't got the Kavana app yet, you should get it today. It's life-changing. But I think your neshama is singing. Your neshama is singing all the time. Just all of this. So what I do, I'm singing a lot. And in general, all through the week, I sing Shabbos songs. That's what I do. There is a mitzvah in the Torah, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat l'Kadshay. You should remember the Sabbath day. And that means not only on Shabbat by making Kiddush, but every single time you remember Shabbos and you think, wow, Shabbos, you just fulfilled a mitzvah from the Torah of remembering Shabbos. So just like you need to be counting the Sefira all day, every day, you need to be thinking about Shabbos all day, every day. Wow, Shabbos. Shabbos Kodesh. It's Shabbos. Not just, by the way, not just what am I going to do on Shabbos, who should I call? That's also cute, but you should just be often thinking, Shabbos. There's nothing without Shabbos. Shabbos is everything. Maybe we'll do a whole series on Shabbos. Shabbos is everything. You need to understand that. Tachlis ma'aseh shemayim va'aretz. It's the whole purpose of everything. Without Shabbos, there's no point. You got nothing. You're not keeping Shabbos. There's nothing anymore. Fine. So I was singing Yedid Nefesh. That's how we start Shabbos. Ka'ech Sof, all these songs. But I like Yedid Nefesh. So the second stanza of Yedid Nefesh goes like this. And I was singing it. This happened a few years ago, and I was like, oh my goodness. The whole second paragraph of Yedid Nefesh is about Chodesh Iyar. How did it? And it was during the Sefira, because I was singing what? This is how the second stanza of Yedid Nefesh goes. It goes like this. Adonai Ziv HaOlam. Ziv HaOlam. God is called the Ziv of the world. Not just that we're going to be sitting in the Ziv Shechina, in the radiant basking light of the Shechina. Hashem himself is Ziv. Ziv HaOlam. Ziv HaOlam. And the next words, Na'avav Shicholat Ahavate. My soul is sick with love. There is a good type of sickness. It's called love sickness. I'm so in love. I'm so yearning. In Kayach Sof we say as well, Shabbos Kodesh Nafsi Chayla. My nefesh is yearning. It's so sick of Olam Hazeh and all of its shtuyot, problems and stav. Your soul is yearning, lovesick for Hashem. That's what it's doing. Heal me. We're saying, Hashem, heal me. This whole second way. The sweetness of your radiance. Yeah, good song. There's a type of yoga or devotional worship in Hindu practices called bhakti. Bhakti is devotion. And you see there's a certain types, I actually lived in their temple for a while, who like chant the same mantra for 4 hours and get into a really hyped up state of crazy God love. So I was speaking to these Israelis in India, and they would say Judaism doesn't have that. So I showed them Yedid Nefesh. I said, really? And they became friends. Not on the spot, but they were like so shocked. So Yedid Nefesh. As titchazek v'titrapeh, then I will be strengthened and titrapeh, and healed. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, titrapeh is exactly the same letters as tiferet. It's the letters of tiferet. It has to be that it must be all about that. So the avoda of this time of Iyar is the avoda of presence. This is the day. I'm in this day, and this is the energy of the day, and that energy in itself is cleaning off the shmutz from my neshama. And I don't believe you need to understand it too deeply. Tefasta meruba lo tefasta. If you try and, so obviously there's unbelievable depth to all of these powers, to Gevura Shabbat and in the Bechiner of the Chachma and the Da'as Elyon and the this and the different sirufim of God's name, the different letter combinations of God's name. Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. There's different combinations. The combination in this month is Ki im bezod yitahel mitalel. Seichel sakel v'yada oti. Oh, you shouldn't feel so great about yourself if you're beautiful, if you're rich or anything. Only this you should feel good about yourself. Sakel v'yada oti. Just knowing Hashem. Das. Having a God consciousness, to the extent that you have built God consciousness, you can feel good about yourself. And that's the tziruf, that's the letters of God's name. Yud, Hey, Hey, Vav is this man. I think that's too much. I think if you have a basic idea that Tiferes is talking about beauty and splendor and balance, and Gevura is strength and balance, that's enough just to say, Hashem, you know what? I don't fully get all the full deep Kabbalistic everything and the bracha in the morning. There's a whole book called Sefirat HaOmer, which goes through every day of the Omer and says you have to give tzedakah with your left hand in the morning and this. It's too much. Maybe you could do that. Maybe I'll do it when I'm 70, some crazy makubal. But for me, what I do is I just sit there basking in the ziv of whatever it is. Gevura should be tiferes. I just say, Hashem, whatever this power is, you do what it needs to be done. It's like when I go to a doctor. I don't have to understand how the medicine works. He says, look, you need to take this medicine. I don't say, well, I'm going to go to medical school for 7 years and chemistry school and pharmaceutical school to work out how the biology works. I trust the doctor, and the doctor says, this is the medicine that you need now. I'm going to take it. So if Hashem says the medicine you need now is Gevura Shetiferes, and you say, okay, Hashem, let it do its work. But you have to be open to it. You have to be aware of it. You have to be basking and shining in yourself. And what we're literally doing is we're polishing ourselves. We're just polishing all the stuff. And it doesn't take that much work. It just takes awareness. Das. Just takes, I'm aware that this is the energy of the day, and this is what being aware of just being aware of the energy itself is doing the healing. Remembering that you're not healing yourself. You don't need to be healed. You're perfect. You're healing the pagam, the messed up bit and the defilement, and that you're just getting rid of it. And that's our avoda, chaydesh. So if you haven't been in the game up until now, that's okay, because you're in the game now. But I realized finally that Pesach is inspiration. Wow. My goodness, we got taken out of Egypt. But then Iyar is transformation. There's a difference between inspiration and transformation. Inspiration wears off, really. Inspiration is just like, wow, everything could be different. I see a bigger picture. But then your life just carries on as usual. You go on the most inspirational trip ever. You come home, you just got some photos. You're back to the same relationships and thought patterns that didn't help. There's no such thing as a transformational experience. Experiences are inspirational. Transformation is katnus, one day at a time. So Iyar is transformation. How I actually bring that into my spiritual awareness. And then Sivan Shavuot is revelation. Inspiration, transformation, revelation. That's what our life has to all be about. Inspiration, transformation, revelation. Chodesh Tov U'Mavoirach.
Thank you.
Thank God.
Rabbi, can you repeat the idea of why we're counting up and not down?
We're counting up and not down because when you count down, you're saying that I'm trying to get rid of these days. They're in my way. It's 10 days until my vacation. I don't want those days. I want to get them out of here. So 10, 9, 8, 7. When you count up, you're saying, I don't want to get rid of the day. The day itself is the step on the journey. You're making the day itself count. By counting the day, you make the day count. I want this is this day. I want that day. That's my step on my journey.
How can we know every day the energies of every
It
day?
says in every siddur.
Wait,
Every siddur, you can ask ChatGPT.
Why did he say the bracha even if you didn't start first?
Why can't you? Because there's a whole discussion if it's one long mitzvah or if it's 49 different mitzvahs, and so it would be a bracha levatala. But it doesn't matter. You don't have to say a bracha for it to be a mitzvah. If you ate matzah on Pesach but you forgot to say the bracha, did you fulfill the mitzvah of eating matzah? 100%. There's the mitzvah and then there's a bracha to get you ready for the mitzvah. If I put on tefillin without saying a bracha, I still did the mitzvah of putting on tefillin. I just didn't say the bracha. They're completely separate, not completely separate things, but they're separate things. So you're still doing the mitzvah.
If you forget to say the bracha at night, you can still say it in the morning and then catch up the next night.
If you didn't say the bracha, if you didn't count at night, then in the morning you can't say a bracha during the day, but you can count during the day and carry on counting with the bracha at night.
What if I ate lunch
But
without blessing?
you can also, if you ate lunch without blessing, then you missed an amazing opportunity to connect to Hashem, which is sad, but yes. You don't need to make yourself throw up. You're okay. The truth is, if you really want to, but this is dangerous because you might, if you don't have kavanah, you can say a bracha without God's name. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher gidshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al Sefirat HaOmer. But we tend to not do that because most people aren't mindful enough to not one day just be like Baruch atah, and as you say it. So we don't like doing that, but it is an option. As Hashem, we should all be zeichet to be healed and shining, beautiful, radiant beings of divine light, and be able to receive the guidebook